Hey everybody, Kevin here, and here's something for your performance edge, and we are going to talk specifically about your performance edge. What is the edge? What is that? And I think the edge always comes from that metaphor of sharpen your axe, right? You know, we get into this whole thing of, a dull axe requires an extra amount of effort to accomplish the job. And I get it. We all have those moments in our lives where the speed at which we go sometimes takes us away from keeping our edge as sharp as it needs to be. And today we're going to talk about that when it comes to you and your leadership in your life. So I just kind of wrote some notes down as I was processing this. And one of my notes as I'm kind of looking here is that, an edge that's unsharpened does require more work. More strength is needed. And every day as you age, it gets dull. I mean, it's the facts. That just happens. And we have even weeks where on a Monday, we're sharp, right? And by Wednesday, it's a struggle. And that's very real too. And the reason why we don't sharpen is because it takes time. It does feel like it's slowing us down. But here's the thing the invisible I want us to take away from today. The expectation when we have a sharpened axe, when we spend time on us, is that it should get easier, and we get disappointed for some reason. But just because the axe is sharp doesn't mean it takes less work. It takes the same amount of strength. It's the fact that when the axe is sharp, it produces more with that amount of strength. And what we start seeing in our performance edge is the result that is in terms of the distance and the impact of what we make, the ripples of all the decisions and actions and things that we take and we lean into when we're sharp. That ultimately is the benefit extension. It's the thing that really stands out, that makes all the difference. And so it's often we're more concerned about, like, it still requires a lot of effort. And it's like, dude, they call it work for a reason, man. It's the key here to understand is that the impact, the benefit extension, the result is going to be even more significant with that amount of strength and effort. Now, that's important for us to unpack here and really begin to understand, because it is a component of strength and skill. I think, I was looking at this whole idea of effort and productivity, and so it really comes down to, I wrote this down, it says, success does not give satisfaction and fulfillment. It's the process of progress and hard work that gives us satisfaction and fulfillment. It is the idea that I am making progress in my leadership in my life. And so here's my question for you. What does that look like for you? What's that look like in your spiritual life? What's that look like in your relationships? Is your axe sharp? It doesn't mean it's less effort. It means same amount of effort, bigger result. What is the progress that you need to be making financially? Maybe there's progress that you need to be making physically. Maybe there needs to be a level of progress made when it comes to your psychology or your productivity or your level of persuasion. You name it. I got every P in the book that we can list out. But what does that look like for you? Have you made a list of where your edge needs to be sharp? And then what is that benefit extension? What is that outcome I'm shooting for when it comes to that sharp axe, knowing that the work is required? That is key. But the impact is exponential. And the impact and the result on the other side of that and the progress that you make will bring about that level of happiness and fulfillment that we're looking for. It's knowing that we're getting better every day. And I can't emphasize enough how important it is for you to sharpen that axe. And so what does that look like for you? What does that look like? What types of operationalizing do you need to do to each of those areas of your life to ensure that the level of progress that's being made is significant and impactful? And sometimes, listen, if it comes to relationships, maybe it's like, hey, I need to make a certain series of phone calls every week, every month, every quarter, every year. Maybe there's a certain amount of effort that I need to put into the sustainability of decisions that I've made financially to ensure that we're making progress towards those every week, every month, every quarter, every year. I mean, I can go on and on. What does that look like for you? Some of the sharpen your axe might be, hey, it might be time to go on BetterHelp and talk to somebody about some things that you realize that sharpening your axe is going backwards before you go forwards. There's the on and on and on. What does it look like for you? Sharpen your axe. Not less work, but more impact. And more impact, more progress. More progress, happiness, and fulfillment. Hey, always remember, when you see the invisible, you become unstoppable. Do some damage.